Some of you have been listening to us for a while, and we've been talking for a long time about this emotional guidance scale. We talk about how on the good feeling end there's love and appreciation and joy and eagerness and passion, all those good feeling emotions, and also your perception of your power and freedom. And on the other end are really bad feeling emotions like depression or despair or fear, and your perception of disempowerment, and of course everything in between. And sometimes you get the feeling that we're so wanting you to be up in this good feeling vibration that you should do everything you can to get there, and we say, problem with that thought is you can't get there instantly, and when you want to be someplace that you're not, you don't move toward it, you move away from it. In other words, picture yourself taking your boat down to the river's edge. It's a wonderful analogy. Some of you have heard it from us many times before, but it is the best picture of how this all fits together that we can find for you. You take your raft down to the river, you have your oars already in it, and most of you, dear beloved human friends, turn your raft upstream and begin paddling very hard against the current. And we say, why not turn and go with the current? And you say, oh, that just seems lazy. Anybody could do that, and everybody that I see that's amounting to anything is paddling upstream like me. We're quite good at it, watch. And we say, yes, we see that you're good at it. We see that you have crafted your boat carefully and that you've contoured your oars and that you've built your muscles. We understand that you're getting good at fighting the current, but our question to you is, how long can you keep it up? And you say, I don't know, but I'm willing to try to find out. And we say, but why not just turn and go with the current? And you say, because all of the people who amount to anything are trying. We try harder, Abraham. If we amount to something, we try harder. And all of the monuments and plaques, all of the accolades are given to those who try really, really hard. And I want to be one of those. And I've heard you say there are even more rewards after I die for that. And we say, and this is really worth taking in, we would remember this forever and ever and ever if we were standing in your physical shoes. Nothing that you want is upstream. Nothing that you want is upstream. And the reason that we can so emphatically give that to you is because we know the stream. We know how the stream has been created. We understand the power of law of attraction and its effect upon your desires, which creates the stream. We know that you were a creative being when you were only source energy before you got into this physical body. And we know that law of attraction was attracting to that powerful vibrational essence of who you are. In other words, well-being was already coming to you before you were born into this body. And then we saw you be born into this body as you set forth that intention. And then we saw law of attraction responding to the vibration of who you really are and the vibration of who you're being in this moment. Isn't that interesting? Every thought you think, everything you are, law of attraction is like a giant magnifying glass that's laid over it and amplifying every aspect of it. So you have this duality going on within you almost in the moment that you are born, as the source energy part of you is summoning the well-being to you, which it has amassed over the eons of your existence, and you, even in your little infant form, are attracting to you by virtue of the vibration that you're offering. Now, many people say, oh, Abraham, how much could a little infant being begin vibrating and therefore attracting as soon as they are born? And we say, you would be knocked over if you understood that that little being learned to vibrate while it was even in its mother's womb. It learned to vibrate as it sat in a room while its mother watched CNN. It learned to vibrate as its mother worried about it every day since she found out she was pregnant. In other words, it learned its vibrational patterning from its environment when it was inside her womb, just like it does when it's outside her womb. In other words, it's learning its vibration from its physical environment. You all learn your vibration from your physical environment. Now, some of you say, oh, Abraham, that just seems wrong. Because if we were pure positive energy before we were born, why in the world would we expose ourselves to less than pure positive energy and risk that separation? And we say, because you were so exhilarated about the variety that you knew would inspire yet new desires. Because you know you are an eternal being. Because you're looking at life from the broader picture, not from the narrow picture. Because you know that being out here on the leading edge of thought and being exposed to the contrast would cause you to come to new preferences. And you knew that the broader, most significant inner being, eternal part of you would then become that new idea that you had carved out, and you saw no risk whatsoever. And anyway, you said, the physical part of me will have access to knowing where the non-physical part of me is always going, because the non-physical part of me is dominant, and the non-physical part of me, law of attraction, is responding to me, and the non-physical part of me will feel really, really good. So if anyone wants to feel good and they just reach for the thoughts that feel good, they can easily become a vibrational match to who they are becoming. That's our story, and we're sticking to it. That is the way that it is. And so when you understand that you are this source energy and that law of attraction is responding to this powerful, evolving being that you are, then you understand that all you have to do is exactly as the genius creator that you know as Joseph Campbell said. He said, so wise, follow your bliss. Follow your bliss. Which means follow the vibrational patterns of that broader part of you. Some of you say, from where I stand, I can't get a whiff of bliss. Hard to get on the trail of that. And we say, we get that. As we talk about all these good feeling emotions when you're feeling bad, we're just annoying. So we would like you to leave this gathering today remembering two things. Nothing you want is upstream, and there really is only one emotion that you ever need to reach for. And let's give it, this powerful emotion, one word that you will always remember. Let's call it the emotion of relief. Because you really, from your despair, don't have the choice of appreciation, vibrationally too far apart. From your doubt, you really don't have access to the vibration of belief. It's too far apart. When you are facing the reality that makes you feel fear, you really do not have access to the vibration of appreciation and well-being. They're too far apart. But no matter where you are on the emotional scale, you have access to the feeling and emotion of relief. So you could say, and you'd be accurate to say it, from where I am, I only have two choices, worse or better. Feeling a little worse, feeling a little better. So now imagine this stream. Jerry and Esther went whitewater rafting a few weeks ago, and they got a close-up look at a very fast-moving stream in Colorado, a river, a Class 4 river. And as they went with this river company and their dear friends, when they approached the river and put their raft into the river, it became really obvious to them immediately that they were going to have no success whatsoever at paddling upstream. No one even thought about doing it. They knew that river was going to take them downstream. It was clear. And the river guide said to them, friends, this is not Disneyland, and we cannot turn this river off. So if you get crossways in this river and you get your raft wedged up in some of these big boulders, he pointed out some, as he reminded them of the disclaimer that they'd signed, which made it pretty obvious they probably were not going to survive the trip. If you get your raft wedged up in those rocks, we can't turn the river off, and this river will beat you up. Might even tip you upside down, dump you into the river. Anything could happen if you're not going with the flow, if you're not moving with the current, you're not wanting to get wedged up. Don't try to root yourself to the floor of the river. It doesn't go so well. So we want you to understand that your current is the same way. It's always moving, and you can't turn it off. It was moving before you were born into this body, and every day you live, it moves a little faster. A woman asked us recently, my child has a question for you, Abraham. We said, we want to hear it. It was really the reason we invited her to the chair. If you get a chance, Mom, ask Abraham, why are grown-ups so grumpy? And we said, because the longer you live, the more you find to fuss and worry about. The more as you explore your contrast, while you can't help but give birth to desire, and the source energy part of you can't help but experience the expansion of your exposure to the contrast, when you get focused on what you don't want, you hold yourself in discord to the self-created stream. Are you understanding this? That when you know what you don't want, you know what you do want, you know what you don't want, you know what you do want, don't want that, do want that, don't want that, do want that. Do you know that all day, every day, you're asking. And that's why the longer you live, the faster your stream goes. And that's why the faster your stream goes, the more important it is for you to turn and go with it, because if you have a faster and faster moving stream and you're still doing the same old thing of bucking the current, then the faster stream is taking a bigger toll on you. It's not that the resistance is getting so much greater, it's that in the faster moving stream the resistance feels greater. Are you understanding this? There aren't two streams. There's not the good stream taking you that way and the bad stream taking you that way. There's only one stream, and you're going or you aren't, you see. And when you don't go with your self-created stream, when you don't go with the flow of life, when you don't go with the call of source, when you don't go to the inevitable way that you have intended, that you have set forth in your creation even before you came into this body and added to every moment since, when you don't go with that flow, you don't feel good. So that's why we call this gathering the art of allowing, the learning the art of how to go with the flow, of how to allow myself vibrational alignment with who I have become. So it really is quite simple. As you stand in the middle of whatever you're living, and let's say something happens. Let's say someone embarked in a contractual agreement with you, or some sort of an agreement with you, and you intellectually examined it, you felt the feeling of it, you weighed it against the intentions that you hold, and you say, looks like a good thing for me. So you enter into the agreement, and then they choose something differently. Not because they're bad, but because their life is causing them to choose something differently. So now they don't want to keep your agreement. And you feel the discord of them not keeping your agreement. And as you focus upon them not keeping the agreement, you turn upstream. Now humans say, but Abraham, they didn't keep the agreement. So I really don't see that I had any option other than to turn upstream and let my stream beat me up. Further, the more I saw the way they lied, the more I saw the way they deceived, the more I saw the way they manipulated, and the more I saw the way they didn't care about me at all, the more I wanted them to be honorable, and I wanted to deal with honorable people, and I wanted things to go well for me, and the more it went that way, the more I wanted it to go that way. So the faster my stream goes. And we say, it's interesting how right in the middle of something that you don't like, you get your stream going faster, and the more you don't like it, the more your own stream beats you up. And then you say, but it's their fault. And we say, now you're really letting the stream beat you up because you have let them cause you to feel powerless. And now you are in despair, which usually turns immediately to rage, which is the next step downstream from despair or powerlessness. So what we want you to consider is, no matter what is happening, you might have a disease in your body. Your lover may have just left with someone else. You may not have enough money. You may find yourself in some sort of financial predicament. The reality of what you're living, or the culmination of the law of attraction responding to your vibration, may not be a pretty sight right now, this red hot minute. But what we want you to understand is that no matter what is happening or what has happened, you have an option that most of you are not utilizing, which is you could feel better if you would try. You could feel better. Now, we didn't say from that situation you could feel fabulous right now. We didn't say that you could turn it all around in a moment. We say you can feel better. And if you will make the effort to feel better, you will turn and go with the flow, and the stream will carry you, and if you allow it, will take you to where you want to be. It must. It is law.